Hey guys, how's it going? Happy Friday. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I worked late today helping my friend Jane Locke, and I know a lot of you guys have been praying for her. And my friend Jeremy Wilson, definitely shout out to you, man. We went over there and helped her out, and we did her spring cleanup for her, picked up a bunch of sticks, blew a bunch of leaves, and she still got a long road to recovery. She walked out and said hi to me. She was kind of having a hard time walking, but at least she's on her 2 feet. So God bless you, Jane, and God bless all of you that have been praying for her. She's a tough woman. She's a veteran. Like I said, my hero in many ways, a true patriot, and she's having a real hard time right now. But I did see her today, and like I said, she's on her 2 feet. She's alive, so she's going to be all right. So we love you, Jane. So I hope you guys are all doing good tonight. Look, I wish we could have the title of these streams one week that says, hey, there's no more gun control. Ammo's back down to normal. There's nothing to worry about. But unfortunately, like I say so often, evil prevails when good men do nothing. And I do believe this is a battle of good versus evil. And I believe there's many evil people that are in charge right now. And they want to compromise our Constitution. They want to compromise the Bill of Rights, don't they? They thumb their nose at the Declaration of Independence. And yes, we found out just in the last week, they've introduced about 10 more gun control bills. Also the ATF. And this can be the scariest. The ATF, there was a leaked letter where they're talking about reclassifying the rules process, promulgation of rules, all these things. And this is actually where we get screwed the most when you have these bureaucrats. You can call them jackboots if you want, because if that's what they're doing, then that's what they are, aren't they? Now, a lot of you are saying right now, well, hold on, who cares what the ATF says? The ATF can't make law. Yes and no, but they kind of actually can, unfortunately. That's how much this country's regressed from its founding documents. So we'll definitely talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the things in this letter, a few more of the gun control bills that have been, proposed and put before committees. Some are actually going to be getting votes in the House of Representatives soon. We'll talk about that. Also, NATO ammo. Why might you need it? Because I've gotten a lot of questions lately from people. Certain guns you guys are buying, certain imports, and we'll talk about NATO ammo, what it is, and why you might want to use it in certain instances. I think it'll definitely help out some of the new gun owners at the very least, and there's a lot of you out there, so we're going to talk about that. Now, if you guys could just stop for like 1 second and give me a thumbs up. If you're in the chat, you have to temporarily X the chat, then you'll see the thumbs up, then you can go right back in if you're on your phone. And that's because I'm going to need you guys' help, and we all need to work together to fight against this algorithm, to fight against big tech, social media. A lot of you call it an oligarchy, and I don't really blame you for saying that. That's what it seems like, doesn't it? YouTube censoring like crazy. And I've explained to you guys before when I say they demonetized a video, and it's, look, I don't do this for the money. This is my most expensive hobby, but it's no longer just demonetized. Now they actually have ones that they say are restricted video. Now, I hadn't heard of that until I went and did the most outrageous thing. So just brace yourselves. It's going to be family friendly, but you might need to sit down to hear what I did. I did something so terrible the other day on YouTube. I bought the Taurus G3C Toro, right? So that's the Taurus Optics Ready option. So naturally, one of the first things I would do besides the unboxing is try an optic for it, right? Well, apparently no one's ever done anything that bad before. This is terrible, supposedly. According to Susan Wiki, that's what they call her, and she's not on my good side. So literally, I went to publish this video. It said it was demonetized. I'm like, well, what the heck's wrong with it? So I kind of reviewed it. I trimmed a couple little pieces out, and I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this. It follows all their rules, so I thought. So I went and uploaded it again. It still said demonetized. I'm like, well, screw it. It won't get many views, but whatever. The people want to know about this optic and stuff. So I put it up there, and right before I did, it gave me this warning message. And on the warning message, by the way, I'm asking for thumbs up because it's going to piss them off, because they're trying to frustrate channels like mine and make me quit, and I'm not going to quit. So that's what I mean when I say the algorithm. So they popped up this warning message, and I posted it on my YouTube community post. So if you haven't seen it yet, look at it. I showed you guys an exact picture, and it literally says on there that there's issues with the video. Now, this was after the algorithm caught the video and flagged it, and then I requested a human appeal, whatever that's worth, because I'm not really convinced there's any humans actually working for this company that we're streaming on tonight. And they said no. So literally, I did not show anywhere. And you guys that watched the video, even though you might not have seen it, because by, I guess, the fact that it was restricted, not many people did see it. And it took me a lot of time. It cost me money. And thank you to all the Patreon supporters, all of the channel members. You guys helped me pay for that optic, and that's awesome. But I wanted like as many people to see it as possible, because videos like this are educational videos. You know, I could just buy this stuff and shoot it myself, but there's a lot to share with people, and that's how we've all become friends on here, is sharing this stuff. Well, YouTube's basically telling me in plain English that since I put sights on a pistol, that they're going to shadow ban it, man. Just think about that for 1 second. So here's literally what happened. Normally, and I don't know, you might think this is a lot of views, you might think it's not a lot, but normally by this time, 24 hours later, a video like this has about 2,500 views on my channel. That's what the stats say. This video has like 700. And there's this big like warning message on there saying this video has been restricted. And like only people that literally looked in their feed or have the notifications turned on even got to see it. And here's the thing. I didn't even install sights in the video. Did any of you guys see it? Literally. I said, here's what it looks like. Here's what the plate looks like. Here's the optic itself. And then poof, I cut the camera off, installed it, and then showed you guys after it was, because YouTube actually has a policy now prohibiting you from installing sights on your pistol in a video. But I didn't even install the sights on the video. So that's what's going on right now. And that's the world we're living in, where it's cancel culture. You know, you're on here, you're talking about liberty, freedom, things that they hate, like the Declaration of Independence. Talking about guns, teaching people about guns, encouraging people that a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And they don't want to hear that. Actually, in their minds, there's nothing worse they could hear than that. Because think about it. These people are tyrants, and they want to have all of you afraid of them, afraid that they're going to delete your video, afraid they're going to shadow ban your video. Now, these are the same people that also want to make you afraid to go to church, afraid to go out in public, afraid to stand up to your government, which you're guaranteed to have a redress of grievance, aren't you? But they want you to be scared to do that. And I think that's what's going on here. So it's a little frustrating, but I'm not going anywhere. Will they kick me off someday? Probably. But that's literally what happened. Spent a lot of time. They kept on saying there's issues with your video, correct it. I was trying to play that a little game. I corrected and edited it like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, man, I have like 7-8 hours into this video. And I have a family to feed. I have a wife and little girl at home. I have to work too. So like I had to finally stop. And that's what they did. So when you hear people talk about how YouTube shadow banning them, they are, and it's real. And there's a whole new category now, apparently, where they restrict access to your video. Rudy Finney with the super chat. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it, dude. Good Michigan guy there. What's up, man? Nice to see you. Scott Boz. Thanks for the super chat, man. Very generous. Oh, Freebird's new account. What's happening, Scott? Nice to see you, dude. I want to see you in real life soon, man. I miss you. Keep up the good fight, brother, as I will. Dude, I know you're fighting hard. We fought side by side together, like literally sitting next to each other. I know you remember that. I'll always remember it. You, me, Rick, Rob, all the people in Monroe. Threaded for my pleasure if he's watching right now. That's how I met that dude. Came down to Monroe County. And so many good people that I've seen. I see Drain the Swamp here in the chat. Hung out with him last weekend. I see Pillbox Bunker. See, and just as I'm frustrated, where I'm like, man, like, why do I even put videos up on this stupid platform? Hold on, guys. I'm going to keep doing it, but I'm just human, right? I'm thinking, man, why am I going to even play this stupid game? Screw them. I can't put a video up showing sights on a pistol that I didn't even show them installing. Like, screw all this. I don't need this crap. I could just go back and cut more lawns and go on living my life, but I'm not going to do that. You know why? Because of literally you guys. I see people in here, you know, Rudy Finney, Scott, people from Michigan, all of you guys throughout the whole country. When I say I meet some of you in real life, that doesn't mean like it's less if I haven't met you, but you guys know what I'm saying. There's so many of you that with the encouraging comments you guys give me in these streams, in the comments of my videos, these different events I go to, when we're going to make the different counties sanctuary counties, look, that's important. And a lot of you guys fought that fight with me, and I fought it with you, vice versa. And that's why we have to keep doing this, because it says right here in the Declaration of Independence, and accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind will be more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms which they are accustomed. And yeah, the other night, I'll be honest with you guys, I was sitting there and I'm like, man, maybe it'd just be a little more sufferable if I just said screw it. Like, why even go on here? Look, I'm into tools. If I wanted to have a tool channel and just sat there and talked about my newest Makita tool, my Skag lawnmower, my Husqvarna weed whacker, look, I could review all that stuff just like guns, couldn't I? And I could probably have hundreds of thousands of subs if I did that, because the algorithm likes that. And while that is how I feed my family, and I have a job, and I know you guys all have jobs too, that's not going to save our country. It's not going to save our country. So you know what? I'm going to keep going through this. I'm going to still be on this platform because this is where I can reach the most people. And if I can just, encourage one person, and then you can encourage another person, and that person does, we might have a chance. So yeah, I'm going to keep up the good fight. I'm just letting you guys know YouTube's getting pretty draconian. They're really putting the screws to us. There's already like hundreds of things that I can't even say on here, and I think you guys know that. There's hundreds of topics of videos that I can't even broach. I can't even talk about. Things that we really should be talking about right now, and I'd love to talk about. Things I have a lot of knowledge on and experience on, and I can't even mention them. Well, now we have to include putting sights on a pistol. Apparently, YouTube and the tyrants fear red dot sights. Just think about that for a minute. Not sure why. Mad Druggist with a super chat. Thanks a lot, man. How's it going? He says, where else are you if they ban you? Look, I'm on a couple other platforms, guys. I'm on a place called Odyssey. Okay? It's spelled weird. How do you spell Odyssey? Is it Odysee or Odysee? I'm having a brain fart. It's spelled different than the normal way you spell Odyssey. But I'm on Odyssey. Although, while we're all here, while I'm still here, it's easier and better for you guys just to come here and talk, because it's one place. I don't really check the comments over there, but I'm there as a backup. I'm also on Gunstreamer as a backup. Same thing. I don't really check the comments there either. It's enough for me just to barely be able to read all the comments on YouTube, because I do own a couple small businesses, and this is not one of them. I have a very small IT business where I've essentially have one, decent sized customer, a couple small ones here and there, and then I do landscaping and lawn work. And then for fun, I hang out with you guys on here. So that's where I'm at. I'm at those other places. So if I just vanish and I'm not here tomorrow, then we'll pick up over there the best we can. But for now, I'm not really answering or reading comments over there, if that makes sense. And that's just, dude, I just don't have enough time in the day, right? Now, when I say I need you guys to support the channel, look, the super chats are very generous, and that's really important because they're demonetizing most of my videos. And then even besides that, now there's a new method called restricting. But there's many ways you can support. Telling your friends about the channel, sharing my videos on your other social media. They're literally telling me in plain English, we're not going to let people see some of these new videos I've been doing lately. So when I say support, that's not me asking you guys for money. There's many, many ways you can support. I know a lot of you guys do. And I hate to have to be this way, but it's basically us versus them. Do we want to still get a patriotic message out there or not? And they're trying to frustrate people, in my opinion, into just quitting. And I do know some really good YouTube channels that did quit because it wasn't worth all the rigmarole anymore, right? Rainy Day, 44-124, 762. Thanks for the super chat. And it's a good caliber. I like 762. Here we go. Here's the rusty one that I still have sitting here that I showed you guys. Did you guys see my ammo storage video? If you haven't seen it, look, I talked about this. This is why I like ammo cans with the silica desiccate packs. Right, Rainy Day? So there's a 7.62 by 39 rusted because it fell on my shop floor and sat back behind the computer desk for a year or so, I guess. Look at that, guys. A lot of you are like, just shoot it, dude. I don't know. I could shoot it, but then what would I have to show you guys why you need to store your ammunition properly, right? He says, Greetings from Big Al in the Democratic People's Republic of Cleveland, Ohio. Hang tough to AEDU. Well, thanks, man. He's my neighbor to the south there, and actually, Ohio is a special place to me. I know there's sports rivalries, and people from Michigan kind of aren't supposed to like people from Ohio. I get it. Then there's people like Jeremy Wilson, Alabama. Shout out to Alabama. There's some really good people here, especially Jeremy. I know a few other people. I think Joe Paquette's in the house from Alabama. I saw him. So shout out to all the Alabama people. But Ohio, my little girl was born there. You know, she was born really premature and required some extra special medical attention, to say the least. She was born really small, 2 pounds, 3 ounces. I'll tell you guys a quick story. See this wedding band? I don't have a particularly large finger. There's a picture that I have. I promise you. My wife's probably in the chat right now. Where, you know, little baby girl, where the ring's all the way over her hand, over her wrist, and all the way up here to her shoulder. That's how small my daughter was born. And she was born in the state of Ohio because there's a hospital there in Toledo that has like the best NICU in the world, they say. So, hey, you guys are going to be surprised to hear that. But that's the story why I love Ohio, even though most people from Michigan hate Ohio and vice versa. But I don't. So you're all good by me, Big Al. What are you guys doing in here? I'm going to say hi to you guys for a minute. There he is. There's Alabama. Joe Paquette. Yep. What's happening, man? Denny's plant-based journey. How you doing, buddy? He's talking about 7 to 20% humidity. You don't see much in the way of rust. Well, I'll move to Michigan for a minute in the wintertime, and then you'll know about rust with all the salt they put on the roads. Heck yeah. Sean, you turned in late. Did you miss the point of the title? Nope. We're going to talk about 9mm later. This is a 2-hour show, and there's no script whatsoever. So we could talk about that at any time. And once in a great while, I even forget, if you could imagine that. But I don't think I'll forget. I'll get to all the topics on here. There she is. Linda thinks Whitmer sucks. I do too. I took a picture for her and sent it to her where I was outside of her office that said Governor Whitmer. I went to the state capitol this week, guys. Went to see State Representative Bob Bazat. Talked to him about some gun issues. Talked about some knife legislation that's coming up in Michigan. Also, while I was there, I saw State Rep Joe Bellino. So I was in the state capitol, literally stood outside of the House chambers where they were all voting. When they came out, I walked with 2 state representatives across the way over into their office building and sat down for a nice talk and basically talked about our rights and what they're doing to try to keep our rights and keep people like Governor Gretchen Whitmer, they call her. They call her many things. I'll just say she's a real beauty, right, Linda? She's a real beauty, but a different kind of beauty. So, like, not in a good way at all. Like, I'll just say that because it's a family-friendly show. But I was right outside of her office there, Michigan Capitol building, beautiful building. And it says Governor Beauty right there. And I'm standing out there with no mask right in front of her sign. And I'm like, ch-ch-ch-ch. But here's the thing. You actually don't have to wear one because she lost her Supreme Court case in Michigan. No, Marksman TV. What's happening, man? Awesome dude, by the way. This guy is so nice. Have I told you guys this before? Like, you see someone on the screen and you're like, dude, are they really that cool like in real life? So I went to his shop. Make sure you go to his channel. I did one of his weekly used gun reviews, right? So make sure you guys definitely go over there. You'll probably want to subscribe too because he does a really good job. So I'm hanging out with him. I'm like, dude, this dude's actually like cooler in real life. So I definitely want to go to Indiana again. Maybe if we can figure out the logistics, Marksman, have you on remotely, through the StreamYard. So definitely like to hang out with you again. No, the knife legislation, this is a good thing. So in Michigan, and you guys need to think about this in all your states, we have a preemption law with firearms. So no city, county, township, jurisdiction, right, that's smaller than the state can be more restrictive on guns than the state law, okay? So we can't have it where you can have an AR-15 in the whole state, but Detroit can ban AR-15s. Not allowed. That's the law. Knives are a totally different story, though. So in Michigan, we don't have you can have automatic knives. You can have different lengths of knives. I mean, there's still some knife laws, but Governor Snyder, just before the beauty got in, he did sign a knife law that opened up our knife rights, if you want to call it that. Now, look, Snyder didn't grant us our knife rights because knives fall under the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And they're an important part of the Second Amendment, just like guns are. Think about that. Knives are part of the Second Amendment. So, but anyways, he allowed us to get some of our God-given rights back. Huge air quotes if you guys aren't watching me. We don't have a preemption law. So in Michigan, there's certain cities. You could be driving through the country and just go into a different township and not even know you went there, get pulled over, and now you have an illegal knife where it was totally legal in the township right next to it. So they're trying to get a law passed that'll make a preemption where knife laws in Michigan are the same in the whole state, and Detroit cannot be more restrictive on knives than, let's say, Monroe County or Livingston County, right? So there you go, man. Geico 1975 says, wow, God bless your daughter, man. Glad it's all good. It is, dude. And she just turned 9 years old on the 21st, 2 days ago. So happy birthday. I doubt she's watching, but if she is, happy birthday, baby girl. Dana Goog says, hey, 2A, what's happening, Dana? How you doing? Alden Davis, what's up, man? Mr. C with the super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. He says, hey, friend, today I purchased 200 more rounds of 223. Nice. 13 mags. Looking good. And 2 more 50 cal ammo cans. And it's all because of your very wise advice. Thanks again, man. Cool. And I think you feel a little better now that you have that, don't you? Look, it's just nice to have a little nest egg. And it's nice to have it and not need it. To need it and not have it. And when you see how much gun control is getting proposed right now, see, I've been seeing them more and more. They're talking about ammunition a lot lately. Have you guys noticed that? That whole ammo tax thing? Yeah. Yeah, trust me. It's getting to where, look, this is what they're doing. They're just trying to bombard us with so much stuff. They're hoping we're just going to get weak and just, I don't know, go lay down and curl up in a ball and cry. I get it. But no, we're not going to do that. However, they're just throwing so much stuff at the wall right now. They're just hoping 1 or 2 little things can just kind of squeeze through. And of course, if HR 127 goes through, then there's like 1,000 things at once, right? Look, don't rip yourself off, guys. But the ammo cans, they're very reasonably priced, aren't they, Mr. C? The mags aren't bad. I get it, the ammo, it's on the pricey side. But you're not going to get screwed. You're not going to get screwed if you're buying like a mag. What's the worst a mag can do? Let's just say no gun control goes through. Everything's like, they called it the Trump slump, right? Let's just say Trump were to get reelected. Many of you want that to happen. Some of you don't. I'm not trying to go down that tangent right now. We can later if you want. But let's just say Trump slump part 2 happens 4 years from now. What's the worst that's going to happen to you? You bought some PMags for $11 and then they go down to like $10.50. You're not really going to be complaining. However, I'm going to kind of date myself a little bit. I was a little bit old. I have a 9-year-old, but I'm a little older. You know, I'm an older dad for her age. Bought my first gun right around 1994, just before the AWB went in, and it lasted 10 years. Now, they're promising any new AWBs, like the Feinstein one that she has in the Senate right now, they'll never put a sunset on there again. They'll never let it expire because, in their opinion, they learned their lesson the hard way. Because what happened is Newt Gingrich came in, contract with America, sweeping changes. The House came in. Republicans took the Senate. Republicans took the House. And then it was all off the table. Not that I think he was a good president. And don't get me wrong, George Bush came in. He wasn't about an assault weapons ban. And it expired. And they said, we can never, ever let it happen again. So next time, they're promising, if it goes through, it will not expire. And this is what I say to the naysayers. It's good to be optimistic, guys. Like, it's good to say things like, we'll never become a communist country, because that's up to us. We need to make sure that doesn't happen. And we can never become a communist country. But it's foolish if someone's trying to convince you, and I know they are. And I'm only saying this to offer encouragement to you guys. Don't be mean to your friends. Don't be mean to your loved ones, okay? However, people are going to say, ain't no one coming after your guns. Ain't no one going to do an assault weapons ban. This is America. And even though I voted for Uncle Creepy Joe, the former vice president, that's what we call him here. I voted for the former vice president, but ain't no one going to come after your guns. Come on. You guys hear people like that? They try to make you sound like you're stupid, don't they? And they try to make you sound like you're the paranoid one. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, we had an assault weapons ban. Right after I bought my first gun, the darn thing went into effect. It lasted 10 years, from 94 to 2004, and tell all of your FUD friends to go look it up. Because they're just being FUDs when they say we can never, ever, ever have an assault weapons ban. We had one. I lived through it. And Glock magazines were $15 in 1994. And by the middle of it, around the year 2000 or so, they were $150 for a 15 or 17 round Glock magazine. And no doubt that's what will happen to your AR-15 mags right now, and your Glock mags, and many, many others. Now, am I trying to preach doom and gloom? No, I'm not. But I'm getting tired of all these FUDs out there. And to me, a FUD, someone that claims that they're preaching the Second Amendment, but they voted for someone who promised that if they were elected, they'd take it all away. I've done videos on my channel, millions of channels that do a much better job than me did videos covering it. It's out there. People just have to open their eyes up. Anyone who says that they ain't coming for your guns is lying to you, and they're foolish. And I'm sick and tired of people saying that their Second Amendment are bust and that they're super, super pro-gun. And then they throw the word but in there, don't they? But you don't need this and you don't need that. And why would you need that many? And Biden ain't going to take your guns. Oh, really? Oh, really? That's why we've had nothing but chaos. We've had a complete you-know-what storm. There's dozens of gun control bills right now that legislators are voting on, that are passing through committee. Several of them have already passed through the House of Representatives. Yeah, there's a tied Senate. We've got some FUD Republicans in the Senate that are going to go wishy-washy back and forth. And basically the Second Amendment, now the Second Amendment's never going to go away because the government didn't give it to us, so they can't take it away. But your lawful free exercise of the Second Amendment hangs in the balance of a couple Democrat senators right now. Do you guys know that? Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema. It's true. The Democrat senator from West Virginia and the Democrat senator from Arizona. They're about the only thing right now stopping them from getting rid of the filibuster and then just steamrolling all of this gun control through. Now, we've had gun control since 1934. First, the FUD said, ain't no one need a machine gun, didn't they? They said that. Then they said, ain't nobody need something that'll... These people are ignorant, and that's why I'm talking ignorantly. Yes, I'm stereotyping them. Yes, I'm talking like I'm ignorant when I do my FUD imitation, because these are ignorant people. And here's the problem. When they spew their rhetoric, it literally requires the listener to be dumber than the speaker. And I'm tired of getting insulted by all these FUDs out there. And there's probably a few watching right now that'll unsub from my channel. And they'll tell me off in the comments. And they frequently do, and that's okay. Because Susan's restricting my videos and trying to shut down my channel anyway. So if someone needs to unsub from hearing this, that's totally fine. But I'm sick and tired of all these ignorant FUDs out there saying, ain't no one going to do this, ain't no one going to do that. National Firearms Act, 1934. It put a $200 tax, which could almost buy you a new car back then. Yeah, that's what created things like short-barreled rifle, short-barreled shotgun, machine gun, destructive device, didn't it? Silencer. That's the name of it, by the way. It's properly called a silencer. That was the name of the first patented device. Suppressor, we can call it that too, right? Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, ain't nobody coming after your guns. Okay, it started then, didn't it? Then go around in 1968. Gun Control Act of 68. All gun control we have since then is promulgated off of basically two gun control acts. The NFA 1934, the GCA of 1968. We go into 86. The FUDs really said, well, hold on. We don't want machine guns like at all, even if you're willing to pay the tax. So the Republican Ronald Reagan took care of those and banned those, and we'll never get them back. And if you want to know why your Polytech and the Rinco AKs are now worth $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 instead of $400 or $500, you can thank the Republican George Bush for that, because he banned the importation of so-called assault rifles. And then we can come into the crime bill, AWB, that was under there in 94. The one that I just got done talking about that lasted for 10 years. And literally there's like 20 to 30,000 gun control bills that have been promulgated off of all of those that I just told you. And you've still got people saying that they're pro-Second Amendment, that they love guns, and they're still voting for this crazy old man, the former vice president. And they tell you, don't they, that they're more pro-2A than you are. And there ain't nobody coming after nothing, and that you're completely paranoid. And I'm just getting tired of those people. You know what? I'll give a little bit more respect to Bloomberg and Moms Demand Action. What? Hold on, guys. Let me finish. I'll give them just a little more, and I give them no respect at all. I give Moms Demand Action and Bloomberg zero respect, literally zero. But I still give that still a little bit more than the respect that I give a FUD lately. Be honest with you. And the fact that I get bombarded with these clowns in my comments every day, sometimes 10 to 12 times a day, means you guys are probably getting bombarded with them in your regular everyday life too. So That's why I'm kind of going on this little rant about them, to offer you encouragement. Look, they have the right to be a FUD all they want. They do. They do. The Second Amendment's there whether you want to exercise it or not. God gave them the right to reject the Second Amendment. That's fine to a point, except for here's the problem with them. These are wolves in sheep's clothing, aren't they? They sit there, they hold the Second Amendment high, and they say, but I'm in the NRA, and I'm this, and I'm that, but you don't need this, you don't need that. Ain't no one coming after your guns? I don't think so. NY2Y with the super chat, thank you. Said, what would be the best gun to put down a dog? My pit bull keeps peeing on the carpet, and I'm sick of it. Man, that's tough. That's tough. And I do thank you for the super chat. However, we're on YouTube, okay? And I don't know if you know this or not, but Trump did sign a law when he was in office, okay? And I think you're joking with me, man. I'm 99% sure you are, and I do think it's funny. Here's the problem. It's against the law to put down your own pet nowadays. So, of course, since I'm on ScrewTube and Susan Wiki hates me, I would have to advise you not to put down your dog because it's highly illegal. There you go. But thanks for the super chat, man. And I just get a vibe. There's a chance I'm wrong, but I'm a pretty good judge of character. I think you're trolling me, and I think you have a funny sense of humor. I'm about 99% sure that's what you did there. But I can't tell you to put your dog down, man. Man, I'm glad Freebird's in here tonight. Scott. Well, Scott's his real name. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you, Scott. For real, man. Get your sheriffs to protect you. Look, there's some oath keepers in here right now. And here's the thing, man. Look, I don't hate all cops. It's hard to generalize anything. How can I say I hate all of this? Because if you ever say like everything or all the time, you're pretty much always going to be wrong. I don't understand how some of these cops are running around violating some people's rights, though. I don't understand some of that. But we've got some oath keepers in here. We've got some police officers, some sheriffs in this chat right now. And I think I would urge all of the people that are non-law enforcement and all the law enforcement people that watch this channel, it's time for us all to come together. Because first, we're all Americans, okay? We're all Americans. We're all defenders of the Second Amendment. Some people take an oath to defend and uphold against enemies, foreign and domestic, don't they? Now, that may be in military service. That may be in general public service. It may be in law enforcement. And I get it. I cut grass for a living. Okay? There's bills to pay. There's family to feed, roof over your head. There's people that do law enforcement for a living. Here's where the problem is. And any good cop should and would tell you this, if they have a problem with this too. There's the paycheck, but when now you're just getting a paycheck and you're violating your oath and you're trampling over the top of people's rights, that's when there's a problem. And that's where money's corrupting people's oaths. But a lot of the good police officers are quitting right now. They're putting down their badge. They're saying, I can't work for this specific force anymore. And that's got to be tough. And I'm sure there's a couple people watching right now that also fall into that category. But I encourage people, look, we don't need to go out there. Look, we need rule of law. And when I say rule of law, I'm being very specific. Here's the laws that I believe are just and that we should follow. We have the Constitution, okay? That's rule of law. That's the law of the land, the United States Constitution. The Bill of Rights, okay, 1791. The Declaration of Independence, and I would even add in the Ten Commandments. Now, I know all of you aren't Christian, and that's fine. That's fine, because I completely respect the First Amendment. You have every right to be whatever religion you want. However, I've talked to Muslims, I've talked to Jews, I've talked to Christians, I've talked to all different religions of people on this channel. It doesn't matter what religion you are. Most people believe in, generally, and you can call it whatever you want, the Ten Commandments. Because here's the thing. The United States was set up. This country was set up, and the Founding Fathers said it would only work if it was a moral people, wouldn't it? So that's what I mean when I say the Ten Commandments. Just some morals. You know, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. It's kind of common sense, isn't it? Things like that. That's what I mean by we need to be rule of law, law of the land. So yes, I do want people that will take an oath and they will swear that oath to protect and defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. And if they're doing that, and I know there's still some oath keepers that are doing that, yeah, that's called rule of law. And that keeps us from being like some of these other countries, because we don't want to be like a lot of these other countries. There's some really crappy places to live in this country right now, guys. There's countries where there's like warring factions and tribes where there's like 50 to 100 different sects of people. I didn't say sex, I said sext with a T. Sext of people that all say, hey, we're in charge. And they just drive by and it's just chaos and they blow up and kill each other all day, every day. We don't want that, do we? But we don't want cops that are out there treading on people's rights and interfering with people's rights to peaceably assemble. And so many times last summer, I'd see one group riding against the other group, and the cops would actually stand up for the leftists, wouldn't they? And then arrest the people that they consider to be more on the right wing. That gives cops a bad name. I guarantee you, if there's any oath-keeping type officers, sheriff's deputies watching right now, it probably ticks you off 100 times worse than me. So, thanks for the super sticker, Mateo. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up, guys. You know, it's called the algorithm, and they're literally telling me in plain English that they're restricting videos on the channel. Like, they're telling me that, like, right then and there. So, there's little things. It doesn't sound like much, but there's 500 people watching right now, it tells me up there. So, if I don't have 500 thumbs ups, I don't know. Quit being lazy, guys. Just click it real quick. It doesn't do anything for me intrinsically. They don't like pay me for a thumbs up. It's nothing like that, but it helps just a little bit in the algorithm. And really, it's just to piss them off because they're trying to keep my channel down. And I don't know. I don't want to give up quite yet. Mike McClune with the super chat. Thanks a lot, man. 1911 guy. A quick question. I know some of you guys are in here from that. I see Cave Dave in here right now. I think I just saw Brastard, Mateo, Matt Morrison. Shout out to you. There's going to be a few of you guys. Rockford Ordnance might be in here. And if he's not, shout out to him too on his channel. Look, there used to be a time, I swear to you, when YouTube was like way better than it is now. Now it was really crappy back then. Where if somebody said 1911, I would literally go over there or there and grab one and show it to you. And I wish I could do that right now. But we can't touch guns in live streams. They've literally added in like 20 rules on YouTube just in the last few months, let alone the past few years. But do you guys remember that? Vote for me, guys, in the chat so these guys don't think I'm lying. We used to do show and tell all night, and it was a lot of fun. But I am starting a new type of Q&A video. So all of the patrons, all the channel members, go check my post there. We're going to be doing a Q&A, so you guys will... Everybody. The video is going to be available to everybody. The Q&A, the questions are available to people supporting the channel and whatnot. I'm going to take some of the super chat questions, and I'm going to do a standalone Q&A video here soon where I will be able to touch guns because it won't be live. They'll probably restrict it and demonetize it, but hey, whatever. Mike McClune, 1911. Thanks, man. Senator Bob Casey Jr. said in a letter I just got, he will vote for any and all gun control passed before him. And Pat Toomey will probably follow in his steps since he's retiring from the Senate. Oh, boy. Yeah, Pat Toomey. He's supposedly a Republican, right? The Manchin Toomey bill, it's been up like 100 different times. Yeah. That's the universal background checks, which is code word for registration, which is in turn code for confiscation, isn't it, guys? Look. Here's the problem. Every Democrat, every time, votes for gun control pretty much no matter what. But the Republicans, there's so many rhinos and they're wishy-washy, and I'm getting tired of it. And I put out a video where I had my friend Mike Detmer in it. He's running for United States Congress. It wasn't about me trying to get Mike a bunch of votes, although I am trying to help him with his campaign. No, I put that video out last Sunday just to try to like remind everybody there's things called primaries. And primaries matter, and you should vote in your primaries so you can get a true Second Amendment supporter or First Amendment supporter, whatever it is that your primary focus on voting for. You guys got to look up your local candidates. You guys got to get out to those primaries. And I'm not saying this like I did this, so I'm better than you. No, I'm better than none of you. I'm probably worse than most of you. But I went to my state capital, and I talked to 2 state representatives. And there's 500 people watching. And if all 500 of you just make those phone calls, go to your state capital, go vote in your primaries. Look, there's other methods. And I'm convinced we might have to exercise those. I'm not even joking. But let's try to keep the process going the best we can and fix it from within. And then when all else fails, right? We'll talk about that in a second. It says right here, it tells you when all else fails in the Declaration of Independence. But make no mistake, the Founding Fathers did try to do things diplomatically. They did try to put forth a redress of grievances. Look it up in history. They really did put their due diligence forth. And we still have to do that for a little bit longer And if that doesn't work, well, I'll read that part of the declaration in just a second. Let me catch on some of these super chats because you guys are being really generous, and I appreciate it. Sergey, what's happening, man? Sergey Petrenko from Michigan. Good guy here. He says, we get Ryan Kelly elected in Michigan. Michigan will be 2A sanctuary. I'll get you whatever you want from Mother Russia. Heck yeah, dude. Oh, man, I love Russian weapons. You know that, man. Block stuff, period, which almost all of it was invented out of Russia. Wait a minute. 2A EDU, they're going to say. I can hear it right now. Susan Wiki. She's sitting there. Oh, gosh, she's a beauty. When I say beauty, she's like she's the other kind of beauty, like in the Gretchen type beauty. She's sitting there right now. 2A EDU is colluding with the Russians. Well, yeah, there's a fine Russian gentleman in here, Sergey. So don't tell her, guys, but hey, 2A EDU is colluding with the Russians, they're going to say. I can hear it right now. He colluded. Sure. Oh, I just got another video shadow ban. Dang it. Why did I have to say that? Thanks, Sergey, though. I appreciate it, man. Here's the thing. Sergey's $10 super chat's more money I make off of like a whole video anyways, so I think I'll stick with the Russians. What do you guys think? Ryan Kelly. I've met Ryan Kelly. Everything I heard from him was really cool. He actually said that he'd be open to a position if he gets elected where there could be a direct liaison, like just a member of the public that's not a lobbyist, that could get like an hour a month to come across, sit at his office across from him and relay direct Second Amendment things from the people. He literally told me that when we were sitting down having a sandwich together. I was talking to Representative Bob Bazat, okay, Sergey? And I was talking to Representative Joe Bellino. Those are two-way loving patriots that we have in the Michigan House. They said, dude, we want to pass constitutional carry so bad. Former sheriff, then county commissioner Bob Bazat. He says, dude, right now, Joe Bellino's like, heck yeah, babe. Yeah, sanctuary. They literally want Michigan to have complete sanctuary status. They want it to have constitutional carry, all of that. And Michigan has the votes in the House and it has the votes in the Senate. However, they cannot get over Gretchen's veto. They also can't pork barrel pro-gun laws in because the governor of Michigan and in many of your states has the line item veto where they can veto one line at a time. They don't have to veto the whole bill, all or nothing. So this stuff matters. Now, I'm not just talking Michigan. I'm talking to all of you in all of these 50 states. If you're not in the United States, you have different processes that I'm just not real familiar with. But God bless all of you people fighting the good fight overseas too. I mean that. There's lots of good people that don't live in America. But if you live in the United States, there's primaries coming up. These things matter. This is where if we can get a Governor Ryan Kelly up there, and then he beats Gretchen, the real beauty. Yeah. Constitutional carry, sanctuary state status, lots of things. The House and Senate are ready to vote it through, and a lot of your states are that way right now. A lot of them are. Red, what's happening, man? Thanks for the super chat, dude. He says, yeah, we are in the battle of rhetoric, and we're losing, aren't we? Unless people start speaking out in their community, yeah, we surrender to the battle for survival. I know. And people are going to say, well, hold on a minute. People are going to say, there's 2A EDU, you're preaching to the choir. Well, of course I'm preaching to the choir, but that's not a bad thing, is it? Look, you guys are a lot smarter than I am, but I might say one thing that just sparks your interest enough or reminds you of something to where maybe you'll get involved. The other thing I'm doing right now while I'm talking, killing time, hanging out, whatever you guys want to call it, you guys are having like an awesome chat in here, and a lot of you guys are motivating each other and giving each other ideas on how to fight for our constitutional rights, our God-given rights that were endowed by your creator, weren't they? So you guys are also inspiring each other a lot. I literally think that to myself, man, how could I motivate these people tonight? How can we have a good time? I don't know that I could really motivate you guys or have a good time, but just by me being here is providing this awesome chat, and then you guys are taking care of all of that. You guys are doing that, and that's what I love about this. So I'm looking at all the good people in here. There's just so many of you. I can't say hi to all of you, but I'm just skimming through, and I definitely read all of this. So after I read all of it from last week, I just kind of sat back and said, man, I'm feeling pretty good right now. Think we have a chance. There's some pretty good ones in here. Right, Scott? What's happening, Chuck R? How you doing, man? Nice bike, by the way. I like it, dude. Had some iced tea earlier, drank all of it. Definitely need to brew more. I know you're always looking out for me on my iced tea. I appreciate it, man. FN 509 Delaware says, missed you last Friday. Well, hey, you're here today. That's good. Look, guys, it's both things, and I'm not being a hypocrite. I truly mean them both. There's some cops right now that are not so good, okay? But I have a feeling those are pissing off the good ones just as bad as me. Probably worse, okay? Probably worse. I don't know. My friend Rick Nieper, former police officer. I don't know if you're in here tonight, Rick, but if you are, how's it going, man? He tells a story of how he helped deliver a baby, you know? I mean, there's cops that do a lot of things besides just going through and being jackboots, right? Now, there's some of those out there. Of course there are. You're going to see that. And that's going to get propagated, isn't it? But we have to still have rule of law, meaning the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, the preamble. I include all that in there. And I would even say the Ten Commandments, because you don't have to be a Christian. I'm not going to judge you either way. But these are just kind of like, even if you're an atheist, and there's a lot of atheists who watch this channel. I'm not, but hey, that's your right. It's totally fine with me. Like, I'm not going to judge you. It's not my place. You still believe in being a moral dude or chick or whatever, right? That's what it comes down to. So there we go. That's rule of law. Unconstitutional laws, no. To protect and defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic, right? Is that still in the oath, or do they take that out of there? It does say the Constitution. Drain the Swamp 2.0. What's happening, dude? How you doing, man? Man, what a generous super chat, dude. I appreciate it. You already hooked me up last week, man. That's not necessary, but I appreciate it. Drain the Swamp gave this to me. And Howl, guys. I just love having a piece of silver. There's something about it. You can own it online. I get all that, but I guess I'm kind of old school. I like to look at it, and it's nice just to be able to touch it, you know? Thanks, man. MaxShot62, thanks also. And the other guys that came and hung out there. I had a good time. And I'm going to be at another event May 15th. And that's going to be the 2A days in Fowlerville. And I think it's getting close enough for me to make that community post. So in the next couple of days, I'm going to make a post. Anyone in this part of Michigan, another awesome event you guys will probably want to go to. Okay, what are you saying, Drain the Swamp? He says, I know this one guy who says they're not coming for your metal protectors. Oh, we're back to that. Goes, okay, yep. Sounds like we're going to have a fight on our hands here. He says, well, I asked him if he wanted a 2A EDU sticker, and he said no. What a, you fill in the blank. D asterisk, yep. No, dude, FUDs don't like me too much. In fact, I have no idea why, guys. I come on here. I never swear. I try to be nice to everybody. Look at all these lovely people in here. How could I not be nice? I literally mean that. I'm somehow like super controversial. People are like, dude, you're this, you're that. Like, I piss people off all the time on here, dude. So I totally get it, Drain the Swamp. Do you want a 2A EDU sticker? Heck no. Blah, blah, blah. There's always people, they're supposedly looking for me. They're coming, they're plotting, they're doing this and that. And I don't know. I told everyone where I was at last week, right, Drain the Swamp? And I'm going to tell everyone where I'm going to be on the 15th. They can come and hang out and have a good time. They know where I'm at. But no, I'm like, I talk to Mateo all the time, good friend of mine, and he does a lot to help the channel out, guys. Not just that you see in the chats here, like tonight, but even going through, looking through comments, actually helping me answer emails is recently something he's been helping me with. Just being a friend. Like, I don't pay him. I can't. Like, I don't make money, so whatever. I do make money from all you guys' generous contributions. I put them back into the channel. This isn't like an enterprise. So he just helped me just because he cares about the Second Amendment, cares about this channel, right? And we were sitting there talking about it. Somehow I'm like, dude, what's up with me? How am I that controversial? He's like, whatever, dude. Who cares? Just do what you're going to do. Because he's like, whatever. But I'm kind of an emotional guy. I'm like, man, what? Trust me, I get it, Drain the Swamp. I get why they did not want the sticker. Trust me. Some people would be like, man, I'd rather be caught dead than to have that sticker on my truck. I am on Odyssey, Bradley Bond. I was just talking about that. I'm on Odyssey, but only a couple people watch there. So we're going to stay here just because we can kind of reach the most people and get the good fight, you know, get the message out there to fight the good fight. Okay. Sergey Petrenko, thanks for another super chat, man. I want to go check out that gun shop sometime soon when you get that going. Let me know, man. He says I should do a stream on TikTok. That's where it's at. I have not used TikTok. I don't know. Maybe it is where it's at. Let me know, guys. For some reason, I always looked at TikTok, and I'm not knocking you, Sergey. I must not know. I thought TikTok was for like teenage girls. Is that just how it started? Is that where it's at now? I don't know. Maybe it is where it's at. I heard my buddy Warthog71 actually talking about it not too long ago. And he said that's really where it's at. Warthog71 is another YouTuber on here. Nice guy. So maybe it started off for teenage girls, and now it's just like the place to be. I don't know. Let me know, guys. I'll be reading all these later on tonight or tomorrow. Steven Schwab, what's happening, man? He said, you're doing an awesome, my man. I built my G3C because of you and love it. Well, cool. Cool. That's awesome. And I want to keep putting these gun videos up, guys. Can you believe that for those of you just joining? They said my video was restricted because I showed a gun with a sight on it. Like, I didn't even install it on camera. Hey, that's where we're at right now, aren't we? Marco Polo. He says, thank you, 2AEDU. I received my second email from Senator Warner. Oh, boy. I laughed. Wish I could post it. You have a beautiful family. Well, thanks, man, and thanks for the super chat. Look, these people are jokes, aren't they? They're jokes. We're going to talk about the ATF in 1 second. You guys are being very generous with the super chats here, and I appreciate it. If I missed one, it's because they're skipping on here. Michael Vaughn, we should be discussing why Susan isn't married. Look, we could have been just friends. I told her I'm happily married. No offense, girl, but like, I don't like libtards, I told her. This is how this all started. Between me and Susan, I said, I don't like libtards. She goes, okay. I'm like, and by the way, you're not hot enough, just quite frankly. So, hey, whatever. Looks aren't the only thing that matters, but my wife's like 10 times hotter, and she's not a libtard. So, but I told her, I said, Susan, we can still be friends, okay? And that wasn't good enough. Now she's restricting my videos. I said, let's just be friends. She said, no, we can't just be friends. Your video's restricted now where it won't get any views. Ex-deputy sheriff here, Joe Pichetti. I think there's a lot of ex and current. You guys know what I'm talking about, don't you, Joe? There's different. Look, the ATF, we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about the ATF in a minute. But just because the ATF are jackboots, and in my opinion they are, now there might be one or two nice people that work there. Maybe only one, probably none. Who knows? Hey, except for the ones that are watching this. Especially the ones that are watching this, right? Susan Wiki, would you like to join me for a boating accident? What's up, old Coasty? How's it going? Ozark Yemen, what's happening, dude? Good channel, by the way, man. Keep up the good work you're doing over there. I was just watching one of your videos yesterday, right? I got to get on my state rep about why they're stalling the 2A protection law in committee. Do it, dude. I went right up to Lansing. Me and Rob, Jeremy Wilson came with me. We were up there. Talked to Representative Bob Bazat, Joe Bellino. Heck yeah. Sounds like a great job for me. What's my great job? I'm going to run for the next governor of Michigan, they're telling me. Run for the next governor of Michigan, they said. Scott, hold on a minute. Scott said, come on, Patriots, beat this super chat. Where's that at? It pops it up on top, and then it moves it. Okay, hold on. Let me catch up here. I don't know why. I literally just said, like, I am not going to get with Susan Wiki, and she just messed with my chat again. Sergey Petrenko, thanks again, dude. He says, as a new gun store owner, I'm working on making Michigan a 2A sanctuary state with Ryan Kelly. I will make it happen or die trying. Yes, sir. And part of that needs to be constitutional carry, right? Yes, sir. That's what we need to do. And literally, like I'm telling you, these are real people. And there's 50 states here. I don't know the names of all your state reps, but I hope all of you watching, first of all, hope you know that you have a state representative and state senator. Look them up. Call their offices. Go to the equivalency of your House of Representatives. It's called different things in different states. Wait for them to come out when they're done voting and walk up to them and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm one of your constituents. Constitutional carry. Red flag laws, make sure they're opposing red flag laws. Red flag laws like literally violate the whole Bill of Rights. The Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, 10th Amendment, 14th Amendment, and probably even half of all the rest of them. Like they're literally that bad. Go talk to them about these things. Sergey, thanks for another super chat, man. You guys are being so generous tonight. I appreciate it. He says TikTok is uncensored and gets insane amount of views. Find me there. Okay, look up Right here on the screen, guys. Look up at Sergey Petrenko 3. I'll definitely check you out afterwards, dude. Scott, what a generous super chat, man. Thank you. He says, come on, Patriots, beat this super chat. Oh, boy. Thanks, Scott, dude. You're awesome, man. I'm not just saying that because he's giving me super chats, guys. Look, I know this guy. He's an awesome dude. Like so many of you guys are on here. Yeah, Super Vet. He says he just subbed to Ozark Yemen. He'll watch some of his vids. Look, he's a good dude doing his own thing. In fact, you'll find his delivery style and the way he does his videos are totally different than mine. But him and I have a lot in common with each other, too. He kind of picks up on a lot of the stuff that kind of gets swept below the rug a little bit, where I'm like, man, Ozark, good catch, because I don't have time to read all the news. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like what he does over there, and he's a good guy. I've talked to him quite a bit on YouTube, off of YouTube, so you guys will decide for yourself, but I definitely recommend going over there. Edward, how am I going to pronounce this? Okay, Edward Kachunian. Edward Kachunian. Did I get it right? Did I get close? What's happening, Ed? Thanks for the super chat, man. I try to pronounce some of the harder names just because I guess you guys get to laugh at me, right? Like, oh, look at this fool. He's trying to pronounce, and Ed's laughing at me right now. Right, Ed? He says, hi, I want to join militia. Yeah, I look, it's all of our duty. Yep. Join or stand alone. Yeah, right? Look, we can stand together or we can hang separately, right? No, you're right. We need each other. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. See, everyone loves to say this shall not be infringed half. Of course we should say that. Like, that's literally what it says. Shall not be infringed. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Well, okay. Look at the first part. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. And no, for anyone that tries to tell you this, they're just wrong and they're lying to you. Well-regulated militia does not mean the National Guard. If I hear that one more time, that's one of the biggest FUD statements of all time. No, that's not the National Guard. It's not the standing army. It's not the United States Armed Services. The militia is supposed to be completely separate from the government. It's supposed to be more powerful than, and we're supposed to be equally armed to our federal government. Why? Well, that's spelled out in the Declaration of Independence. Why? In case we have to overthrow a tyrannical government. That's why. So no, anyone that tells you the well-regulated militia is supposed to be connected to, well, that's your state National Guard. That's your Whitmer, real beauty, by the way. That's your Wolf, all the PA guys living under that tyranny. That's Governor Wolf's National Guard. No, it's not. No, it's not. The militia is there to keep them in check. And when the government fears the people, there's freedom, isn't there? And when the people fear the government, there's tyranny. And that's why they want you to be afraid. That's why they want to discourage you. That's why they want to sit there and shadow ban videos about putting sights and putting red dots on pistols. Oh, don't. They literally put that message up on my screen just the other day. Don't even dare thinking about putting a red dot on a pistol on this channel. Give me a break. You know what? If they think that's the worst I've got, they got something else coming, because I've got a lot more than just a red dot on my pistol. Like, who even brings, like, handgun? Look, they're awesome. I carry one or two all the time with me everywhere I go. But really, they should fear the bayonet a lot more than a red dot on a pistol if they think we're gonna try to take our country back. Jeez, oh Pete. Look, I'm just putting it into the perspective, guys. It's kind of goofy, isn't it? Rapala 67, Norinko AK, any good? Heck yeah, man. Look, I don't like the Chinese government. I don't like Xi Jinping. I don't know China. But look, there's somebody right now. I think she's in here. Her name's Ting Ting. She was born in China. Now, she's in the chat right now, I think. I saw her earlier. If not, she's usually here. Look, this is a true American patriot. This is somebody that should offer a lot of us encouragement. And it's true. There's obviously very fine people that live in China, okay? Very fine people. Some of them come here and they become better patriots than people that have lived in this country for 20 generations. Because why? They know the difference. Look at all the Cuban Americans that come to this country. Latinos, period. Look at the Latinos. Literally some of the biggest patriots I've ever met. And I wouldn't have known this because I live out in the country. I live out in the sticks. And just to be fair, and you guys can say whatever you want about this because I don't care. I pretty much just grew up around white people. That's just because of where I was born and raised, right? No, I meet these Latinos. They're like, heck no, man. We're not going to allow communism in the United States of America. We came from Venezuela. We came from Honduras. We came from Cuba. People from China that came here. They're like, we're never going to let that happen again because we lived under communism and we know exactly what it's all about. So, yeah, look, Xi Jinping, blah, blah, blah. If you buy a Norinco, if you buy a Chinese AK right now, awesome. Awesome guns. You're not supporting the current administration because Clinton, yeah, he's a real beauty too, isn't he? President Bill Clinton banned those in 1994, and no Republican after him has ever taken them off the list. So as far as I can tell, even though President Trump himself, look, I have to call Trump out, guys. I'm just going to be honest. I can't lie to you. Infinitely better than this former vice president on guns, no matter what. But Trump did promise, if you elect me, right, your 8-year assault on the Second Amendment's over. Then he banned bump stocks and several other things, including the Molot AKs from Russia. But he also said he would unsign any previous executive orders on gun control. Even Trump never unsigned the Clinton ban, so you're not going to be able to buy a currently made Norinco or Polytech. And in my opinion, and I hope this changes, you'll never be able to buy another new one again. I don't think anyone will ever unsign that executive action. So that's my rant on Chinese firearms. I believe they're very good firearms. They were bought in an era a long time ago. You're just buying them from fellow Americans back and forth, okay? And I want to explain that because I showed a Chinese AK one time on this channel, a couple times. And someone said, man, how could you support Xi Jinping, they call him, President Xi, however you pronounce it. He said, how could I be supporting him? These stupid things have been banned from import for like 27 years. Look. Rudy Finney, he says, I'm your Huckleberry. Thanks, Rudy. Dang, man. Thank you. Oh, you guys are being so generous tonight, and I really, really appreciate it. It kind of makes me... No, I don't want to feel bad. I said that to someone the other day. I'm like, I feel bad, and they're like, got mad at me. And no, I don't feel bad, but I feel very humbled. So thank you very much. Thank you. And there is a few things that I want to buy for the channel. And I think after a lot of you guys helping out tonight, I'm definitely going to be able to. And then not have to worry when she restricts it. What's happening, Rick? How you doing, man? That's our buddy Scott in here. Freebird Farm. He's going by Scott now back in here. So awesome, man. Remember, I was talking about you earlier. Rick must have heard me. Where's Jane Locke at? I told you guys, she's a fighter. She's a good woman. I just saw her in here. I was just at her house. That's why I was a couple minutes late. I had like 15 minutes more to blow around the back of. I got to blow around the back of your air conditioners, Jane, in the back. That's it. I got all the leaves blown out from the front of her house, a bunch of sticks picked up. It's looking good over there. And you're looking good, Jane. You'll be all right. I'm serious. I'm not just saying that. You're looking a lot better than you were even a week ago. I think you're going to be okay pretty soon here. She says, 2A EDU and my friend Catherine Henry. 2A EDU and my friend Catherine Henry are the only two I watch on YouTube. Well, that's awesome. And Catherine's another good one, man. West Eli, what's happening, West? How you doing, buddy? You've been watching for a long time too, haven't you? Red, what's happening, dude? Thanks for supporting the channel, man. Yeah, he's biased against Norinco because he hates China. I get it, Red. That's why I kind of went through all that. Look, somebody bought that a couple generations ago. In my opinion, and this is totally up to you guys, if you buy it used off your friend, neighbor, whatever, I don't think you're really helping China's economy anymore, but that's a personal choice. You know what I'm saying? Look, I don't like the Chinese government, but I'm open-minded enough, and I never used to be this way. I used to be like, man, if that's a communist country, everybody there has to totally suck. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true because here's the thing. In my opinion, we're getting really close. They're really trying to make us a communist country, and there's many very fine people hanging out in the chat right now. So I really have to stop and pause before I say everybody that lives in China sucks. Everyone that lives in Venezuela sucks. Everyone that lives in Honduras sucks. Well, no, because I have a friend named Juan. Okay, he's worked at a local fab shop here in South Lyon for a long, long time. And I really like him, and I consider him a friend. Like, I've known this man for, 15 years? So I know all these people in these other countries don't suck. And it's taken me a long time, one by one, to learn that. Heck McCormick, Zastava M92. Heck yeah, man. I may or may not have one right over here that I can't admit to because of Susan Wiki's rules. Thanks for supporting the channel, man. Mateo, thanks again for supporting the channel. He does all this moderating work for free and leaves me a super sticker to remind you guys to give me a thumbs up. So, and then he's a channel member too. Thanks, man. Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to catch up on these super chats. Where's the... I'm looking at the one earlier where people are talking about the FUD. I still can't get over that. That's pretty funny. Do you want a two-way EDU bumper sticker? Drain the Swamp asked me. I said, heck no, man. I don't like that guy. That's okay, though. That's okay. That just leaves me more stickers to give to other people when I see them. Bill C., thanks a lot for the super chat. Says, well-regulated in the 1700s meant functioning and maintained. Absolutely. There are writings describing inanimate objects like boats, clocks as well-regulated. Thank you. And I have mentioned that before. And this is where you guys always bail me out as I'm sitting there trying to go through it all. And then someone like Bill C. just puts it nice and there concisely. He's a little smarter than me. I appreciate it, Bill, for hooking me up on that one. Saint Trebly, did my chat not go through? Did you send me a super chat? Is that what you're talking about? I'm not sure. I will look for it. I can go back to 1014. I do not see one from you through 1014. If there's ever a super chat that I miss, guys, it's not intentional. I guess you have to be on this end for me to truly explain it. You'll be scrolling through this chat, and it's all going in logical order. Okay? And then it skips on me. Thanks for the super chat, man. He said my last chat fell through. Could you look back? Man, I feel bad when this happens. It happens every once in a while, but I'll try to find it here. Hold on. Gray Man left me a super chat. Thanks, man. He says FUDs think all you need is a bolt action, shotgun and wheel gun. Yep. They believe in common sense gun control. Vote them and say no one's coming for your guns. Absolutely. That's what I was trying to describe. And they do that, and they do that frequently, don't they? It literally drives me crazy. I'm getting sick and tired of those people. Like, do I hate them? Not necessarily, but they just need to shut up. Like, I try not to hate anybody, but literally, FUD comes to me, and it's like, just shut up, dude. Like, I'm trying to offer you guys encouragement. It's not just you. All of us are dealing with FUDs every single day. Ain't no one coming for your guns. All you need is a revolver. All you need is a double-barrel shotgun. Steven Schwab just became a new channel member. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. I can only go back so far. I feel bad for Saint Trilby or anyone's chat that I missed because I'm seriously not like that. Hold on a minute. Freddie left for you with a super chat. Thank you. He says, what I find as annoying as FUDs are people who generalize states like New York and just assume everyone's a liberal. Their solution, just move. Nope. You know what? And that's something else I've learned over the years. I'm always learning stuff, guys. I hope you guys are too. And look, if I missed your super chat, type it again, and I will try to read it for you. I think I just saw it, Saint. Freddie left you. Yes, and I've learned that over the years. Look, there's patriots that are just as patriotic that are living in New York, Connecticut. Look, I had a couple people message me just in the last week that live in Connecticut. These are good people, okay? California. There's somebody right now living in California that's more patriotic than you, whoever you are watching this. There's like almost 600 people watching, and I guarantee you, even if you're in Texas, Alabama, Michigan, lots of patriots in Michigan, wherever you're at, there's somebody in one of these commie states that's probably more patriotic than you, right? Or than me, or any of us. I don't mean like any, I'm just saying like the pejorative you. Yeah, I know. And everybody can't just move. Everyone can't just move. That's why these 50 states are all supposed to be protected by the Constitution. It's such a perversion of the way this country was set up to exist that there are states that don't get to exercise rights as equally as other states. No, that's not the way it's supposed to work. And I do believe in the 10th Amendment. I do. But look, they're not supposed to be able to tread on these very specific God-given rights that were enumerated. See, the Constitution and Bill of Rights didn't give us these rights. They literally said, don't tread on me. They forbid the government. And that would forbid all of the 50 states from infringing upon our God-given rights to keep and bear arms. That's how I believe about it. And that's the problem that we have right now. Because I know there's a lot of patriots out there. And I know all of you can't just move. I know all of you can't just move. I totally get it. Is this what you were saying earlier? He says, could you chrono or clay test an AR-15 with 22 long rifle conversion bolt like the CMMG compared to a regular 22 LR? I actually can't do that, to be honest with you. I'm not really like into that stuff. I don't own a chronograph, okay? And I don't really have any of that clay stuff. So, to be honest with you, that's not really my thing. I don't really have that type of equipment. I don't know if anyone else has done that or not, but Mr. C, thanks for the super chat, man. He says you need some more moderators to help you with your super chats. Well, the thing is, they can't really help me with it because I'm the only one sitting here right now. That's the problem. I can't. They literally have to be sitting here. What you're saying is I need a producer, right? Like how Tim Pool has Lydia, for example, and Crowder has like 4 producers. I'm a lot smaller than those guys, but I don't have a producer. Like literally, I'm the only one here right now. But yeah. Rainy Day, 44-124. Thanks for another super chat. I appreciate it. He says, been to China on business 5 times. Okay. People are nice, but they fear their government and say any criticisms and whispers. Yep. When they visited Cleveland, they wanted to shoot guns at the range. See, there you go. They have to whisper, don't they? YouTube wants us to whisper too. Yep, and Linda caught that from me. So thank you, Linda. I don't want to say no, but I literally don't own a chronograph. That's not really my thing that I'm into. But I know what you're talking about because there's a different measurement to the lands and grooves, right? So you're assuming maybe the 22 long rifle out of the CMMG is losing velocity compared to a strictly 22 long rifle, right? I think that's what you're talking about. So if one of you guys could bail me out, one of you awesome viewers out there, if you could help answer my friend here that left the chat, tell him whether his suspicions are correct or not, because that's a nice thing about 500 people watching right now. There's somebody that's really smart in here that knows what you're asking and has probably done it. I bet you Mateo can answer that for you, actually. So if one of you guys could please help me on that. I'm not a chronograph guy. I don't own one, but I know what he's asking. He's thinking if he shoots 22 long rifle through, okay, his 223 5.56 barrel, let's say it's 223 wild, whatever it is 22 long rifle bullet really the same size as the 223 projectile, or is he gonna lose some velocity or lose some stabilization? I think you'll find that some people are gonna help you out with that answer, man. I really do. There's some really smart people when it comes to ammo on here. I know for a fact there are. All right. Alan Kanesh, what's happening, man? Nice to see you. Connor Williams, thanks for the super chat. He says there are a lot of left-wing gun owners. Yeah, it's just the government rules over those states are very extremely out of touch on preventing crimes. Oh, yeah, there are. Oh, yeah. We've said this a million times, but we need to say it again because it's true, right? Criminals don't follow laws generally. That's why they're a criminal, because they committed crimes, meaning not following laws. Now, sometimes that is the just thing to do, right? Yeah. If you have tyrannical laws, then rebellion becomes your duty. It's not just your right. It's your right. It's your duty. That's what the Declaration of Independence says. But still, by sheer definition, they're not following laws if they're criminals. So all of these laws are going to affect us law-abiding, aren't they? It's just going to add more obstacles where people will get caught with something that was banned. Somebody will get caught trying to make their own gun, which has been legal since the inception of this country. It was even legal before these United States of America were formed, and it's always been legal. And I better get to the main topic tonight because I've been over an hour, but we're going to talk briefly. That's one of the things the ATF is trying to do right now. They're trying to make it where They're going to put big-time obstacles, make it illegal for you to make your own firearm. And criminals aren't going to follow those laws. And if you don't follow those laws, you become a criminal. And these are very personal choices all of you are going to have to think about, because I think this is coming. This isn't a matter of whether Joe Manchin keeps the filibuster or lets the no. That's all these gun control laws. They're hitting us from all sides, guys. When it comes to the ATF, when the former vice president gives his marching orders and they tell you they're going to do something, they're going to do it, okay? So this is something we really need to get ready for. And a lot of you have probably already heard about it, but we'll go over it in just a minute here. Dr. Warren with a super chat and a channel member. Thanks for the support, man. Says the former vice president says he might cancel the 4th of July this year. What a clown. That's so despicable. Literally. Yeah. He wants to cancel it, right? He wants to cancel it, all right. There's lots of things I'd like to say, but I probably shouldn't, because it's a family-friendly show. And I don't have a very large vocabulary enough to possibly describe this man. Other than the fact that he doesn't even know where he is, does he? He doesn't know where he is. Do you guys remember that? Literally, he's standing on the stage. This is my wife. This is my daughter. This is my wife. This is my sister, daughter. They switched. Do you guys remember that? Like, he's literally, he gets up there, I'm Joe Biden, and I'm going to beat Joe Biden. I'm Joe Biden's husband, wife. Where am I? What's going on? Give me a break. He's going to cancel the 4th of July. He can't even walk up the plane. The wind was blowing. The former vice president, the wind was blowing, they said. It was blowing to, and it was blowing fro, and it blew 3 times. I can't believe it. Do some of you guys just wake up someday and you're looking at this and you're like, what the heck is going on? You know what I mean? It's like that old song. I'm not even going to try to sing it because I can't sing it, because if I did, then she'd strike me for that reason. But, man, there was a song in the early 90s. I think you guys know what it's called, too. What's Going On, it was called. And that came on the other time. Listen to it. It starts off, awake in the morning, and I step outside, and I take a deep breath, and I'm like, yeah, man, I just woke up, and all of a sudden there's this sleepy old man. The wind was blowing that day, they said. Give me a break. Hank McCormick, thanks for a super chat, man. Channel member, thank you. Says, AFT. The AFT is going to promulgate some new rules here. And look, the way it should be, because it says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. We've talked about what that means tonight. We need to keep talking about that to all your friends and all the FUDs, and tell them, look, listening to your stupid-ass FUD rhetoric requires the listener to be much dumber than the speaker, and I'm not dumb. We need to remind them of that, and that's okay. Okay? Shall not be infringed. That's what the AFT. Can you guys believe it? The AFT is going to, he doesn't even know where he is. But he's going to send the AFT after you. Rob with the super chat and channel member. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. Still say we need a Declaration of Independence from the Fed, the NFA, corporate personhood, and any politician who served more than 2 terms. I know. We all need to do our part, guys. I've been doing a little bit. I know it's never enough, but Mike Detmer that I was talking to the other day, United States Congress candidate, he's pledging he will try to get term limits in no matter what. And if he can't get them passed, he'll self-impose them on himself, and he'll just leave. I think he had said 3 terms for the House and 2 terms for the Senate. That's what a lot of people seem to think. Sounds reasonable to me. 2 years, okay, 6 years there. 3 terms to the House. Now, you could say 2. I'm not going to parse details with you, Red. But, yeah. Look, a tyrant is a tyrant. There might be different redresses of grievances that we have right now, okay? But a lot of them aren't going to be that different. A lot of them are going to be almost exactly the same. Because really the only thing that changes is things kind of just like keep staying the same. Like, a tyrant is a tyrant. Good and evil have always existed. Literally, since this earth was created, it's been a battle of good versus evil. And that's really what I'm truly convinced this is all about. Good people, we just want to be left alone. We just want to do our thing. We don't want to hurt anybody, do we? But we want to defend ourselves from bad people. And we want to defend ourselves from a bad tyrannical government. And I would say there's lots of bad people there, wouldn't you guys? And that's what it was all about in 1776, July 4th, 1776. It was just good versus evil. I'm not trying to play it down like that's all it is. No, that's like a big deal. And that's what we need to remember. And that's why we need to keep our spirits up. Because evil will always prevail and has always prevailed when good men do nothing. It's true. Justin W. just became a new channel member. Well, thank you, man. Thank you. Boy, look at all these good people in here. Blue Girl and NC. What's happening? How you doing? Nice to see you. Cave Dave, thanks for supporting the channel, man. Another channel member. Longtime viewer. Cave Dave's been here from the very beginning, guys. A few of you have, and I appreciate it. Yeah. He says, my CMMG conversion kit didn't give me the best accuracy, but it's hella fun and less cost. There you go. I told you there'd be some smart people in there that could help you. So, sorry I missed your super chat earlier, but I think there's some people that came in here and kind of bailed it out, right? Mr. C, George Benson did the song What's Going On in the 70s. Okay, I heard the 4 Non-Blondes version of it, you know? Yeah, there you go. I'm always learning something new every day. Where's my moderator? Where's Linda Hates Whitmer at in here? I bet you she's heard of it. I bet you she knew that, but I didn't. George Benson did the song What's Going On in the 70s. Well, thank you, Mr. C. Thanks for clarifying that. I don't know. 4 Non-Blondes is probably a bunch of hippies and probably wants to take all of our guns. I get it. It's just the song comes on and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it. And it's a catchy tune, you know, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like literally, I wake up in the morning. This is how this goes. So I'm watching. I don't like to watch TV, but sometimes I do. So you guys don't have to, just to see what's going on. If I have news to report, and this guy's up there, shubida-nabida dibida pressure. I'm Joe Biden, and I'm gonna beat Joe Biden, and I'm running for the United States Senate, and he's doing all this stuff. I'm like, he's like, where am I? Right? And then I wake up, and I'm like, I feel just like him. Like, this stupidness is contagious. I'm like, where am I? I'm looking around. Where am I? Yeah, do you guys feel that way? Like, what's going on? You wake up in the morning and you step outside and you're just like, the wind blew. Oh. Did you guys remember that? I'm sorry, but I don't normally make fun of old men. But you know what? Not when they're the former vice president. I'm not going to cut him any slack. Not when he's sitting there trying to deprive me of my God-given rights and deprive me of my liberty and trying to make me a felon overnight and trying to make all of you a felon overnight. Of course, I'm not going to cut him any slack. I should be saying a lot worse. But I'm trying to keep the show family friendly because there's lots of good people who watch this and don't want to hear cursing and swearing. So, trying not to. Hank McCormick, thanks again for another super chat, man. He said a lot of gun shops seems to be looking down on 3D printing. Oh, yeah, of course they do. Because right now they're thinking, oh, that's going to cut into my revenue. But let me finish because you're probably already going to say that, right? He says, yeah, don't see the possible revenue. Profit margin on firearms are not as high as the premium parts right now. I'm constantly looking for parts. And I did a whole video, didn't I, Hank, talking about parts you should get for your AR-15 right now. And that's not because I want you guys ripped off. Look, I'm not. Somebody said, oh, this is a fear-mongering video. You guys will get a kick out of this. 2A EDU, they said, he's fear-mongering again, and he's trying to get rich and sell us a bunch of gun parts. No, I don't work for the gun industry. You couldn't have possibly been clicking on an affiliate link because there were no links for you to buy gun parts on there. I was just saying, guys, these parts are really cheap right now. I buy them while they're still cheap, while you can still get them. He's fear-mongering us. He's going to be buying an island soon. But I don't work for a gun company. I cut lawns and landscape. And there was no affiliate link. And I didn't say this video is sponsored by, like Jay in the Swamp said earlier, do you want the 2A EDU sticker? He asked them. See right here. They're nice stickers. And I've got a new color one coming soon. Do you want the 2A EDU sticker? And the guy said, heck no. He's fear-mongering by reminding us to buy $5 and $7 extra sets of springs and detents for our AR. Now, man, I'm constantly looking for parts too. And I think a lot of these guys can't see the forest through the trees. They're sitting there like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a FUD and I'm going to do all this and that so that I can keep my profit. Not necessarily. They got to think outside the box and they could make more money. Oh, don't sneak out a Bible study, man. That's probably a lot better than this show. Drain the Swamp. There he is. He's a good dude. I had fun hanging out with him the other day. I had fun hanging out with a lot of you guys, actually. But I agree with you, Hank. And I think you have a pretty accurate assessment on that situation. Marvin Gaye sang What's Going On. I don't know how many people sang this song. I guess I'm not that old. I was telling you guys how old I was earlier, but I remember when I was a teenager and Four Non Blondes made that song a big hit, right? I don't know. You guys, like I said, you guys have got me proved wrong a lot. Evil has never prevailed over the righteous. No, you're right. And evil's not going to. And that's why I keep saying we can't become a communist country and we're not going to become one. I'll tell you what, evil does prevail when good men do nothing. And I believe that this is the good fight and this is the righteous fight and this is what we need to do. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, this is what they did back then. We need to fight the good fight. We always need to. And I'm going to quote from one of the founding documents. And Susan Wiki doesn't like this. But hey, if you've got a problem with it, Susan, go after James Madison. Go after Thomas Jefferson. I'd like to see that, wouldn't you guys? What do you guys think? The Founding Fathers versus Susan Wiki. Who do you think will win? I don't think she'd fare so well, do you? Do you? I don't know. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. And that's what this is all about. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. Entitle, that's the word. It's a powerful word. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That's you. That's just regular people. They're supposed to be at our consent. That's how the country was founded, like literally. On July 4th, 1776, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Not the ATF, not some sleepy old man telling you he's going to come after the ghost gun. No, it's up to us to decide how we're going to be safe and happy. It's literally what it says here. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable. Are these still sufferable? How many things do they need to ban? You guys will have to think about that. It is something I think about a lot. How many do they have to ban while it's still sufferable? Says mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and I would say the patient sufferance of all of us. There's 20 to 30,000 gun laws on the books. It says shall not be infringed. But that's what we're dealing with right now. And such now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present king and the former vice president and the governor of Michigan and all these jackboots is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states, and these states, I would say too. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. Somebody was talking about how they wanted to write one of those earlier. Well, that's what was written and declared on July 4th, 1776, right? I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm not George Washington. I'm just a regular dude, just like all of you dudes and chicks out there, people. We're just people, right? At the end of the day. Look, I'm not George Washington. I don't have all the answers, but this is stuff I'm thinking about a lot. It makes me wonder. A long train of abuses, it says. Mr. C, thanks for the super chat, man. He says, oops, you're right. Marvin Gaye sang the song. My bad. All right, dude. Thank you. You didn't have to pay me to tell me, though. I would have come back and read it later, but you're contributing to the channel. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Chuck R, what's happening, man? Join the two-way EDU mafia. I don't know. That sounds kind of hardcore, doesn't it? What do you think, Pillbox Bunker? What's happening, Pillbox? Nice to see you, man. Safe Line Live, what's happening? Says, Brass, you're a good person. I'm on the right path, even in bad times. Okay. It says my app, Safe Line, will help us all and our children in the future. All right, cool, man. Let's see here. Hang in there, brother. You too. You too. I'm good. I'm doing all this just to remind you guys. I didn't write any of this stuff. They don't want us to remember this. They don't want us to read this. I wonder if your kids are learning this in public schools. They should be learning this in about the 3rd through 5th grade, if you ask me, because I know my 9-year-old daughter, she's smart enough to understand this. You don't have to be a scholarly person. You don't have to go to Harvard. They'll say Yale, Princeton. And if you did go there, that's fine with me. I don't care, but you don't have to go there to understand this. This is pretty darn easy to understand, in my opinion. Unalienable rights, that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if you just have those 3, that's really all you need. But it's not just limited to that. It says amongst these. And then if you look at the 9th Amendment, that's the amendment they don't like to talk about much either, do they? In the Bill of Rights. 9th Amendment, I'll grab it right here. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Yeah. 10th Amendment. The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution. There's only a couple in there, really. There's not many. And I'm going to get into the ATF next, and the ATF ain't in there. I'll tell you that much right now. But things have been perverted a lot from these founding documents. It says the power is not delegated to the United States of America by the Constitution. Remember this, barely any, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Duh. The former vice president or any of these shouldn't even be able to talk about guns. In my opinion. It doesn't say in there. Where does it say in the Constitution that they can take guns? It doesn't. In fact, as amended, because the Second Amendment becomes part of the Constitution. So the Constitution, as amended in 1791, clearly states shall not be infringed. But now we have the ATF. And there was news that broke about a lot of stuff. And I'm just going to cover a couple of the things. But really, I want to talk about the whole principle behind it. Because I don't think some people completely understand this. So let me just say this. I'm just going to go through it real quick. And why I think this is actually a bigger threat right now than a lot of these gun control laws. But that doesn't mean I'm diminishing those. They're all a threat. They're hitting us from every angle. And in my opinion, they're not going to stop until we either A, stop them, or until they take all of our guns. That's what it appears they want to do, right? Just my opinion. If you guys see it another way, I'm sure you'll tell me, which is totally fine. The ATF. This isn't law enforcement, right? Alcohol, tobacco, firearms, they'll call it explosives, BATFE. They work for the Justice Department under the Attorney General, who is a cabinet member appointed by, in this case, a former vice president, normally by the president. We're in strange times right now. Okay. And then they have to be approved by the Senate. Advising consent is what the Senate's role is on these nominees. So the chief law enforcement person, yeah. This is law enforcement. Well, hold on a minute. How is law enforcement making laws when they're supposed to be part of the executive branch, which is to execute the laws in the Constitution, right? Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to work. We're supposed to have 3 branches of government, aren't we? The legislative branch. And in the Constitution, it literally says that Congress makes laws. Like, it actually says that. That's why they're legislators. Legislative branch. Okay, they make laws. Executive branch were to execute them. And the court system was supposed to be extremely weak. Look it up. Much, much, much weaker. Before Marbury v. Madison, they were like so weak, they couldn't do hardly anything. That's another topic for a different day. If you guys are interested, we can talk about it or look it up if you're bored. Okay, so 3 branches of government. then how is the ATF that works for the executive making laws? When it says only Congress can make laws in the Constitution, duh, okay. And then right here, 10th Amendment, it says the powers not delegated to the United States, okay, are reserved respectively to the people. But we now have the ATF saying we're going to go through and we're going to, in essence, outlaw what they call ghost guns. Now, I reject that word. It's a stupid word, but that's what they're calling them. What I'm about to say, I don't agree with at all. I'm just telling you, it is what it is, and it shouldn't be this way. But it is, because we had good times for too long, and good times make weak men, don't they? And then weak men make bad times. Yeah. I think that's kind of where we're at right now. I don't think all of us are super weak. I think a lot of us have a lot of good fight in us, but for generations, things were going just too good for too long, right? While evils were still sufferable, as they talked about in 1776. The people allowed them to go from shall not be infringed in the Constitution, only Congress makes laws, where now the ATF is banning guns. And although you didn't vote for anybody that works there at all, actually they are. And actually, if they go through the proper rulemaking, promulgations they call it, it will have the full force and effect of law. And I'll explain that in 1 second, guys. Gray Man with the super chat. Thanks, man. He says, we need leaders like the Founding Fathers, where unfortunately all we have is rhinos and politicians that don't want to give up their golden gooses. In many cases, yes. I agree with you, man. In many cases, yes. There's a few good ones here and there. And every time I say this, like 20 people, you watch the numbers just dip. It's a live view. 20 people are going to come out when I say this. Guys, primaries matter. Are you sick and tired of the rhinos? Are you sick and tired of this side of the coin versus this side of the coin? But at the end of the day, it's the same coin? How many of you guys voted in a primary? And I'm not calling you out. This is friendly encouragement. This is like a friendly challenge. And there you go. 20 people just dropped out. They always do. Besides the last one that was just shadow banned. That's the least viewed video I've had in a long time. But the one that was restricted, the second least viewed video I had is where I had a congressional candidate on there. And we were talking about primaries. And nobody likes primaries, do they, Gray Man? But there's the answer. One of the answers. You know what? Everyone wants Lexington and Concord Bridge. Where is it at? Where are you guys at? If you're not going to do that, which that's a personal choice, then at least go vote in the darn primary, guys. Come on. Do something. If you're ready to go, and you're ready, not you, Gray Man, just anybody out there. A lot of your friends, not necessarily anyone watching right now. Who knows? Maybe one of your friends, right? They're 10 foot tall, they're buck, they come out, screw primary, screw voting. I ain't voting never again. 1776 right now. Okay, do you mean like literally right now? I don't know. Still trying my best, guys. I want to go vote in my primaries and find a good candidate that's not just another rhino. But people don't like that. People don't like talking about that as I'm watching my viewers fall right now as we speak. And I don't even care, guys, literally. So I'll talk about gun control because people only want to hear about the negatives. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm still going to vote in my primaries because I'm tired of these rhinos on the other side of the coin. The ATF is going to be making rules soon on what they call ghost guns. And they're basically going to be outlawing them as we know it. They're going to make it where it's no longer legal to make an unserialized gun. Well, why do they want serialized guns? They claim it so that they can track the guns from the bad guys. Bad guys don't follow laws. We've already talked about that before. How many guns were made with serial numbers do you guys think out there that have had the serial numbers filed off and then people still use them for their dirty deeds, don't they? Like, these are not going to stop any real criminals. These are literally just going to affect the law-abiding, and that's what all of these do. They affect the law-abiding people, and they're wanting to infringe on your right to keep and bear arms once again because they want universal background checks, they want gun registrations, and every time there's a gun registration, it leads to confiscation. That's the way it's always been, and the way it always will be. Look back. Look back. I don't know if she's still here because it might be past her bedtime. Ask Ting Ting that's from China, originally of China. Ask her. Ask her if they would know where all the guns were at in China. She might know about that. Anyone that was born in another country. I know there's some people that were born in Great Britain here. Fabulous people. Share in the chat. Let them know. Because Look, modern history. Look at Venezuela, for example, once one of the richest per capita countries. Originally in the 70s, and they've progressively gone worse. They went through and they did a gun grab, a gun confiscation. Why did they know exactly where to go to everyone's house? Because they were all serialized. They all had them on a registry, and registration led to confiscation, and they became a communist country, and people went from one of the wealthiest per household in the whole country. This place was a paradise not too long ago. To now people are eating out of garbage trucks, and they're having to eat their animals because they can't afford to feed their pets and they can't afford to buy food. It's really sad because there's many, many fine people that live there too. And they can't stand up against the military, and they can't stand up against the communist police because they were all disarmed, and they went door to door and they took their guns. They're literally telling us they want to raise the corporate tax rate to 43%. That's literally on the levels of communist countries. It's all right in front of you guys. They're going to raise the corporate tax rate to numbers that are so high I can't even fathom them. And then they want to say, we're coming for your guns. That's literally what he said. I didn't say it. He said it. He said, are you coming for their guns? Is what I think it was Anderson Cooper said to this former vice president. And he said, if it's an assault weapon, bingo. It's on my video. He said, bingo, if it's an assault weapon. And then the FUD's going to come back, well, blah, blah, blah. You don't need, these are military weapons of war. No, you're G2C if you own a Taurus G2C. And I own a couple of them, and it's a fine firearm. And I know a lot of you guys enjoy yours. Your G2C is an assault weapon. According to the former vice president, according to Senator Feinstein with her AWB. If it holds over 10 rounds, it's an assault weapon. If anyone tells you different, just give them that whole thing I did earlier. Say, listen, dude, you're a FUD. Right? And your rhetoric requires the listener to be dumber than the speaker, and you might be dumb, but I'm not. Say that in your own words. Maybe more politely than that. Maybe not. You can decide that for yourself, right? But yeah. Let's move to this 80% ban. So they want to ban guns. They want to know where they're all at. Well, that's a big wrench in their spokes that people are making their own. There is no such thing as an 80% firearm. That's a term that was made up. There's no such thing as a ghost gun. That's made up. This is all rhetoric. And it's all very deceiving rhetoric. By legislation, which this is unconstitutional legislation, like I said earlier, I don't agree with any of this stuff, guys. None of it. But the way the laws are written, the unconstitutional laws, it's either a firearm or it ain't a firearm. Period. There's no like at 79% it's not, and at 80% it's not, but at 81%, look, they just use those terminologies because you have to call it something. I get it. I'm not ripping on the term 80, but no, it's either just a firearm or it ain't. It is or it ain't. That's it. And really, all they're trying to go after is people building their own firearms. It's always been legal before this was a country. And the ATF doesn't make law, and the Constitution says they can't, right? So how's that going to work? Let me read a couple chats and I'll explain how. How perverted these founding documents have become. The system we're living in right now is so far removed. Wake up in the morning and I'm like, what's going on? Like, where am I, right? MaxShot62. Thanks, dude. Oh, man, what a generous super chat. 4570. You know, I do like my trapdoor. It's a nice rifle. He says, there's a FUD cartridge for you if you can hang on to it. Oh, man. That is probably what one cartridge of that would cost right now. 4570, he said. Thanks for the generous super chat, dude. He said he's enjoying a smoke, digging the chat, sitting on the porch, watching wabbits. LOL. Can you imagine this dude? He's sitting there with his 4570 and he's watching wabbits and he's smoking a cigar or cigarette or whatever he's out there chomping. You know, he's oh man. But I know he's totally joking. Max Shot's a good dude. He ain't no FUD. Thank you, man, for the generous super chat. I appreciate it, dude. Just sitting on the porch with his 4570, he said. Reptile Guys with a super chat. Thanks a lot, man. Lead and silver, and for being a channel member. Thank you, sir. He says, lead, silver, and gold. Stack your precious metals. Things are about to get much worse. I don't think we get this country back without a fight. Look, I'm not going to argue with you, man. I'm not at all. Not at all. But even the colonists, right up until this point, they were doing many things. They were doing it through diplomacy. They were writing letters. So they didn't just immediately pull out the old musket. They were doing other things at the same time, okay? Plus, we're on YouTube. I can only talk about what the founding fathers did, right, reptile guys? I don't know. I don't know what I'm allowed to. I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about. Apparently, putting a red dot sight on a gun went way over the edge. Matt Roman said, I don't know, man. The world we live in today is so screwed up. Like you're saying, the laws they want to pass always hurt us good law-abiding citizens. I know they do. They're trying to control and hurt us. Yes, they are, and it is frustrating. And I'm ticked off too, man. It's okay to be mad. We should be mad about this kind of stuff, shouldn't we? Okay. So the ATF is going to make it where there was literally a court case they're citing in their letter where with this ghost gun, if it could be made in 8 hours, that would qualify as a ghost gun. So 8 hours. Are you kidding me right now? Literally, you don't have to have like a super high-tech machine shop, because they did come back and say, well, we're not counting like a fully staffed machine shop. So hold on a minute. Because they're wanting to change the serial numbers too, aren't they? They're wanting to change the serial numbers. And they're wanting to make it where the slide will become the firearm, the upper receiver. If you have an AK, probably the front trunnion. This is all coming very quickly, guys, by the ATF. And I promise I'm going to explain real quickly how when they're perverse, upside down, like truth is treason and the empire of lies type of logic, how they can legally, deprivation of rights under color of law is a felony, I would note. But with that said, how they can legally make laws. And there's huge air quotes for anyone that's not watching. I'm saying legally, like wink, wink, like no. Okay, hold on a minute. Look at this. This is a block of steel, Susan Wiki, all your little people that watch these streams. This is literally a bar of steel. I'm just showing a bar of steel on my channel. That's it. See this? What could you do with that in 8 hours? I don't know. Will I be able to have pieces of steel? Like this is now the steel stream. Susan Wiki and all your little minions that watch this, because they do literally watch. There's live people watching this. Look, this is a steel business we're getting into here, where we have steel, and we're just literally going to start, selling bar stock and coils and 8 hours with this. I don't know. Okay, so the Constitution says Congress can make laws. So what did Congress do? Cowards, lazy. I would even go as far as to say cucks. Yeah. They wrote a law, all right, and the law was called the APA, right? The APA. And what that did is that allowed them to now delegate their authority onto the executive branch through these bureaucracies, through these agencies, unelected people. Some of you call them jackboots. Some of you call them many things. So this is how it starts. This is why the ATF is going to ban ghost guns like soon. And this is why under the perversion of the Constitution that we're now running under right now, how they can do it. So they passed the APA that says Congress can now delegate rulemaking and definitions to these agencies that are underneath them. So the ATF's just saying, okay, Congress wrote a law that says we now have the power to interpret what the National Firearms Act says, what the GCA says, all these prior gun control laws. Okay, so that's where it starts. That's how they're getting involved in rulemaking, as long as they go through the proper procedures. So that's why there's a comment period. It's called the rulemaking process. So as long as they go through the proper comment period, they're supposed to read the comments. I don't think they really read them. It's a dog and pony show, okay? All right. So then they make a rulemaking. Okay. Well, all of this is contrary to the Constitution, period. I want to say that one more time in case any of you are just joining. But in this current society we live in, where the Second Amendment has become a second-class right in the eyes of the government, Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas said that. He said, I'm getting really frustrated that the Second Amendment has become a second-class right. And it has been. But I digress. So the APA says as long as they go through a question and comment period, and they have to publish it to the Federal Register and spend a bunch of taxpayers' dollars with attorneys and more attorneys, as long as they do it properly and legally, they can interpret laws. That's weird. I thought that's what the judicial branch is supposed to do, but not anymore. Not in this country, whatever you want to call it, this system that we're governed under right now. But what if their rule says something totally different with the law it says? And this happens all the time. Do you remember bump stocks? Where literally they said, all right, Our interpretation is that a bump stock's a machine gun. But the National Firearms Act very clearly stated what a machine gun is. And very clearly the bump stock did not meet that. Okay? But then there's the Chevron deference. Chevron, look it up. It's a Supreme Court case that says that if there's a conflict between the law itself that Congress passed versus the rulemaking, the interpretation by the Department of Justice, ATF, so there's a conflict. The law says a machine gun, single function of the trigger, multiple rounds, okay? Bump stock doesn't do that. We know that. So there's a conflict. The law says this. The rulemaking says that. Chevron deference says the rule, the ATF rule, or whatever government bureaucracy rule, has more power and should be used over the law itself. Excuse me? So hold on a minute. There's a law, and Congress gave them the ability to make definition rules and all that of laws, right? But now their definition of a law means more than what the law itself means. It's literally insane. Now, the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals came back and said, no, we're not going to apply Chevron deference to this. It'll have to make it to the Supreme Court that will either uphold the Sixth Circuit, and then that will it'll kill the bump stock ban completely, and it'll also drastically weaken, if not kill, Chevron deference. It might overrule that Chevron case that they're using as case law. I hate case law, but that's what they're doing, okay? But as it sits right now, Chevron is still being used by many circuits in many cases. So Chevron says take the interpretation of the rule more than the law itself. Okay. And then you think to yourself, well, hold on a minute. How does that have any force and effect on me? Well, look no further to another Supreme Court case, Perez v. Mortgage Bankers. And that basically says as long as the APA was followed and they went through the proper rulemaking procedures, promulgations of the rule, published it, gave public comment, all these things, and other things, wasted a bunch of money on lawyers. Of course, they always waste money on lawyers. Then that actually does become a binding law, and it binds the people. So yes, Congress only makes laws. The Second Amendment says shall not be infringed, and they perverted it all the way to where an agency that's supposed to enforce the law can now reinterpret the law. The reinterpretation means more than the law itself, and yes, it applies to you from another Supreme Court case, and thereby they're going to come in and shoot your dog and do whatever to you if you have metal that can be turned into something within 8 hours of work. That's what this letter is saying from the ATF. And it also ends solvent traps and all these things with silencers, suppressors. Yeah. Look, I'm not a lawyer. This is just for your entertainment only. Don't take anything I say as legal advice. But I think the way I summed it up is pretty much the way it works in real life. That's what they're talking about right now with this leaked letter that the former vice president, when he said, I'm coming for your guns. Look, these ATF things are dead serious. And they, under this current system, they do quote unquote have force and effect and all this stuff. I don't agree with any of it. I don't think any of it should be. I'm just telling you guys why we are where we are right now. Edward, how you doing, man? Thanks for the super chat. He says, police need to not enforce unconstitutional laws. I completely agree. They need us right now, and we need them. Civil war is upon us patriots from my cold, dead hands. I completely agree. And I don't know how many there are. I hope there's a lot of cops, deputies, whatever you want to call yourselves, oath keepers, that agree, man. I really do. I don't know how many. It's encouraging to see some in this chat tonight that, yeah, we do. That's what we need. I agree with you, Edward. I do, man. Hank McCormick with a super chat. Thanks, man. And a channel member. Thank you. He says, weird twist. Obama expanded gun laws allowing loaded guns on federal land while Trump made legal abiding citizens felons overnight with bump stocks. It's crazy. It makes no sense at all, does it? None. And we should be defunding the ATF over local police generally. Okay, someone said that. No, I get it. There's some real jackboots in the local police too. Look, a jackboot's a jackboot, an oath breaker's an oath breaker. But I would say, generally speaking, right, the ATF, of course, they should be defunded. I don't even think they're legit anyways, to be honest with you. But, that's just my opinion. For your entertainment only, right? Mike McClune sent me a super sticker. Let me take a look. And I am going to briefly talk about the NATO ammo. Someone's like, I only came here for the 9mm. I told you guys I'm highly controversial. Did you know that? I'm one of the most controversial channels out there. somebody like within 2 minutes of this start, and I feel bad, and I'm not even trying to be mean about it, but hey, it goes how it goes, There's no script here. I'm just hanging out. Did I, like, this was 30 seconds to 2 minutes in. They said, did I already miss the main topic, which said 9mm? Look, 9mm was in the title. I got on a couple rants. We'll talk about the 9mm. Somebody's like, I waited 1 hour and 54 minutes. I'll talk about the 9mm for 3 minutes. How about that? And I won't charge you a penny. No, it's just funny. Sometimes I just get off hanging out with you guys, get off on a tangent, whatever, and reading the chat. And like I said, there's lots of good people in here. Mike McClune. Oh, yeah, he's got whoa, that's kind of cool. He's got the robotic arm with the tactical hippo with the missile. I think you need a tax stamp for that, dude. Yeah, that looks like artillery on that hippo's head. What do you guys think in that sticker? Susan. I hope Susan paid for her tax stamp with that in there, that artillery. 9mm PPS 43. I have a 9mm PPS 43 and 7.62 by 25. I like them both. I'm kind of going to say, I'd like the 7.62 by 25 more, to be honest with you guys. Yep. She needs a tax stamp for that emoji. Susan Wiki. Pay our tax. Pay the Queen's tax, Miss Susan. Anyways. Jim Hopkins says, wow, I'm not one of them. You're not with the ATF, are you? Well, there's always a couple people with the ATF in here. Oh, boy. Anyways. What's Red talking about? To explain would be too much for chat. My employer owns all of this. Oh, geez. All right, guys. A lot of you have been buying a lot of cheaper import guns, and I have too, and I've done videos on them. So you've got like the Zagana PX9, right? The Stoger STR9. These are foreign import guns. Well, Turkey. And I know this is for a fact with the PX9 because I have the one that has the Filipino police logo on there. They were extras from a contract run that they did. So they literally made these, right? Jim Hopkins is with the ATF. Nice. Actually, no, not nice. Yeah, right. Anyways, I figured you guys would get a kick out of that. So, these guns are made for duty guns. That's literally what they market them for, whether you want to look at it that way or not. So often you're going to find that they're literally going to spring them, put a higher poundage recoil spring for NATO or plus P ammo. Like literally, seriously. Because most law enforcement, militaries, whether you guys like it or not, Turkey's in NATO. So they're going to use a higher pressure round, right? And they're going to spring the gun accordingly where it doesn't completely beat itself up to death by using these higher pressure rounds. So here's where we basically run into where you can have a little bit of an issue. And I would certainly say this would help for break-in. So my Stoger STR9. You can just tell by racking the handgun how stiff the spring was. I was shooting this Federal 9mm, 115 grain right here, okay? And I had a few stovepipes. It was not getting the slide back enough. And it felt, a little bit wimpy. Now, I switched over to this. This is NATO ammo, 124 grain. Cycled it flawlessly. I'll be honest with you, even this Wolf 9mm did. Now, this isn't labeled plus P or NATO, but in my opinion, it's got a little more power than a lot of the domestically produced brass case 9mm. Just saying. Okay. What does NATO mean? Well, besides it being a treaty and, being used in our armed forces, it actually means something. So this is 124 grain. NATO 9mm could be 123. It could be 124, 125. I think that about covers the most of it. That falls under NATO spec. It also means it has a higher pressure, which is going to obviously exert more energy, right? The bullet is going to move faster, the projectile, downrange. You're also going to have more opposite energy exerted on, say it's the Browning tilting barrel system, right? So you're going to have more recoil in the gun, which is going to cycle the slide more. Now, 9mm, when they rate these cartridges, there's something called pressure. And this is the maximum chamber pressure that the cartridge, people build guns based around these different specs, is 35,000 PSI. So you figure this, since it doesn't say plus P, this Federal, even this Wolf, to be fair. Now, look, there's SAMI spec, 35,000 PSI. They use a different one in Europe. So we're just going to kind of round off and use what's called SAMI because that's what they use in America. But this isn't marked plus P either. So these are going to be 35,000 or less PSI, right? NATO ammo is going to come in at 36,500 PSI-ish, about 4% over standard pressure. So, yeah, there's a real difference. And that's probably what your gun might like more, need more, especially when you're breaking it in because they spring the gun. See, you can't have a free lunch in the gun world. If you have a gun that's sprung very lightly, less poundage, less tension on the spring, and you're using a steady diet of basically plus P ammo, because that's what NATO is, and I'll explain a couple of the nuances in just a second, and your spring's really weak, it might cycle weak ammo all day long, but you're going to be beating the gun up slowly but surely. Now, if you have a stouter spring that is going to slow down the mass and not have the metal parts of the gun pound itself, as quickly, then you're going to need that stronger recoil spring. So there you go. And that's something that even though they're cheap budget guns, just remember, they are using them in some countries. I know it sounds weird to you guys, like, oh, we're not going to have a Zagana PX9. Like, what police or military would use those? No, actually, they do in other countries, as proven by the Filipino contract Zagana PX9 pistols. And this is for many guns out there. Canics, a lot of them. Your results may vary. You may be totally fine. So you've got, like I said, law enforcement, military, NATO, law enforcement, plus P. There's a lot of cops, supposedly even ATF agents watching this tonight, right? Is there a policeman out there that's not using some type of plus P? Probably not, for the most part. Okay, these are called duty guns. Thanks, Frank, man. Thanks, I appreciate it, dude. He said kicking some butt tonight. Thanks, man. Look, so 35,000 PSI, that's 9 millimeters pressure spec. Once you exceed that, they aren't real hard numbers, but once you exceed that by about 4% or so, and you get up to 36,500, you're entering NATO. That's about the NATO spec. That's also where plus P starts. Plus P also starts about 36,500 or so. So really, if you're on plus P, you don't know exactly where it's at, but it's going to be about the same as NATO, and then plus P can kind of continue from there, right? And that maxes out at about 38,500, and then after that, you get into what's called plus P plus, or to be honest with you, it wouldn't even be a SAMI round anymore. It's called SAAMI is what I mean when I say SAMI. So, yeah. Some guns, you can do that if you want, plus P plus, but most manufacturers will tell you warranty void. We don't want it in our gun. And the reason is all plus P plus means is it's over the plus P max. It's over 38,500 by a certain percentage. So it could be almost anything at that point. And it's just simply not regulated. So plus P plus, I don't want to call it quite a wildcat, but it's not like a true specification cartridge, if you will, right? Now, there's something else. Don't confuse NATO ammo with some of the submachine gun ammo, like some of the old Uzi ammo from Israel. That stuff's so darn powerful. It's known to break and crack a lot of guns, like within the first magazine. Like, literally broke tons of people's guns back in the day when that old Uzi submachine gun ammo was brought in cheap on the surplus market. So that's the deal. If you bought a gun, whether you knew it or not, and there's many that fall under this. I just named a couple examples of things that have been very popular lately. These are officially duty guns. Your results will vary. Once you break the spring in, it might be totally fine. But before you think the gun's a complete piece of junk, you might want to look into, well, what was it created for? What was its purpose? If it was a military law enforcement gun, hey, they designed them to run around NATO and plus P ammo because that's generally what militaries use. Well, if it's a NATO military, then they have to use NATO rounds, right? And most police are going to be using either something that's plus P, and if it's not, it's more of a defensive round that is going to have the pressure specs right up close to that point. Police usually aren't going to carry like the cheapest, most low-powered 115 grain ball rounds in the United States or really any country. So, yeah. Node with the super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it. It says laws mean what and when the time they were written. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Laws mean what and when the time they were written. So are you saying that if they wrote a law, if the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed? I'm not sure this is what you're saying, but if you're saying that it only meant shall not be infringed in 1791, because that's when it was written, that's when it was published, the Bill of Rights, would you also say this? Would you say that it only protected muskets because that's the main military firearm? Huh. No, I would say you're dead wrong, and here's why. And here's why. And you have to agree with me, because if not, you can't even be on the internet. Okay? Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Laws mean what and when the time they were written. Okay, I did read that right. And you're dead wrong, and you couldn't be more wrong. With all due respect, but thank you for the super chat. Because you wouldn't even be allowed on here right now. Was there an internet? Was there the ability to come on YouTube and leave a chat? In 1776, I don't think so. So according to you, you can only use a quill and paper because your freedom of speech was only available for the time it was written. And I hope you didn't drive a car to work, because you can't have that either, unless you rode a horse to work and used a quill and wrote it on parchment. But here's the thing, the Second Amendment, so already that pokes a huge hole in that, because everyone's, my First Amendment. Oh, really? Then why are you on the internet, huh? Interesting. And not just you. I'm not even sure if I'm reading yours the wrong way. But hey, I'm just literally reading what it says. Laws mean what and when the time they were written. Okay. I don't know. That could be many ways. If I'm jumping all over you, sorry, maybe you should have been more clear. But I think what I'm reading here is you're looking at this as a living, breathing document. No, I firmly reject that. Because tyranny meant what it did back then. It still does today. And it just says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. It doesn't say I can have my musket and I can have my 12 gauge. No, that's wrong. And I reject that. I reject that, and the Founding Fathers rejected that. And I think all good Americans that want to preserve this republic, because we do have a republic if we can keep it. And if you want this to be a living and breathing document, you know what that means? You're at the whims of the masses. It means you believe in democracy, and you believe in 2 wolves and 1 sheep voting on what's for dinner. And guess what? Those 2 wolves are going to vote to eat you, and they will eat you. And this type of mentality that we've had in this country, where this country's been getting wussified, and this country's been getting weaker and weaker every day, is because people want to be at the whims of the governed, and they want the majority to rule. You know what? That's called tyranny, and that's called democracy, and we're not a democracy. If we were direct democracy, we would have been gone a long time ago. So no, I completely reject that it's a living, breathing document that can be changed at the whims of the people. Who's it going to be changed by? The government? It says right here that the government's only allowed to be instituted amongst men, and they're deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. I do not consent. I will never consent. And I hope all of you will never, ever consent. Because people want to pick and choose. You can't just pick and choose. You either believe in the document as it was written, you believe in the Constitution, you believe in the Bill of Rights, or you don't. Because you can't just sit there and say, well, I choose the First Amendment, but not the Second, because the Second Amendment was put there to protect all the rest. And note, I'm not actually responding to you anymore. Just for some reason, your comment got me off on this tangent. Watch how quick the First Amendment falls. Can't believe it. And this is one of those things again that literally requires a listener to be dumber than the speaker. And I'm not that dumb. And I'm not that smart either, but I'm not that dumb. People will sit there in one hand and say the Second Amendment only applies to a musket while they're sitting there typing out on the internet, on their iPhone, on their Android. Heck, even on their typewriter. You can't even use an old-fashioned Smith Corona typewriter if you believe that it only applies to how it was written at the time it was written. Really? Well, let me tell you what. I'll tell you something else that's timeless. And when it was written in 1776, July 4th, whether the former vice president wants to follow it or not, it was just as beautiful then, and it was just as beautiful now, and it's always going to mean the same thing. And it's right here. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if you have your life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that's all you need. That's all you needed in 1776. That's all you need today. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and have a good one. I've gone way over. I'm out of here.